Hey guys, welcome to Outlaw Edge. Chilly morning, 34 below zero this morning. And shop is nice and toasty. I got the small heater running behind me just so I don't use so much propane with the big heater. There's a big heater way up here upstairs. Big propane heater. But anyways, working on the Unibody today. And what I'll do is I'll flip the camera around and I'll show you what I'm doing. Trying to get the body level. I'm sorry, not the body, the frame. I'm trying to get the whole chassis level so that it's sitting, plumb, square, true level on the floor, because the floor, the concrete's got a little bit of waves in it, whatever. So you don't want to put a body of a car on, and because I have to build body mounts for this thing. You don't want to build body mounts for this truck and then have the whole thing crooked when it's, going down the road or whatever. So first thing this morning, I came in here and I got everything just as square and plumb as I can, and everything's dead nuts right now. And then what I'll start doing is trimming the body of the truck to fit the chassis, and then dropping it down, moving some cross members around so I can start bead rolling the floor and the bed and all that stuff. This has been a process. This has been a lot of work doing this stuff, a lot of hours going into it, and people just don't see that. They don't realize how many hours goes into building body mounts and everything, but I'll get it. It's just kicking my ass right now. But I got the wheel wells sitting really good. They look awesome. The chassis sits in there really nice. It's sitting down right now, but I'll flip the camera around and show you what it looks like. The wheels are centered inside the wheel wells, and it drives me nuts when you see hot rods and the wheels are not in the wheel wells properly. They're kind of forward or backwards. It just, to me, looks stupid. Like something was thrown together or whatever. I want this thing to look like it was, you never knew it wasn't done or whatever. It looked like something from the factory. But I'll go ahead and flip the camera around. I got a shaky tripod. I broke another tripod, so I'm trying to hold it with my finger here so it doesn't shake around. But anyways, I'll flip the camera around and I'll show you what I'm doing right now. So I came in here this morning and looking at the body, and I'm gonna start moving the body around so I can get it plumb and sitting right on that chassis. And I'll show you what it looks like, in the wheel wells. The tires look really nice. They're nice and centered. So that Crown Vic frame just sits beautiful underneath this thing. And then I snubbed off the front cross member here. It was sticking way out, but the radiator and everything, there's nothing there. So you have over 1.5 feet to move back. So I'm gonna bump everything back. But right now I wanna get the body mounts built so that the front fenders have mounts and the cab mounts are finished. I'm gonna get all this stuff done. And you can see over there that it's higher off the frame right now. So the body's not sitting on there right. And the reason for that is I need to trim out a little bit on the firewall right here so that the body sits down correctly. So what I did is I stuck a level across here, and I got this dead nuts where it needs to be. And then I also leveled it this way so that the chassis is sitting like that, level this way. And then I also put jack stands back here, and I had to build some shims on the front and rear jack stands on one side to make up for the crappy concrete being unlevel. And then I stuck a level right across this rear cross member, and then made sure it was back and forth this way. Everything was level, and like right now it looks crooked because the body itself is sitting up like this. It's kind of aimed like that. So this side right here has to drop way down, and you can see where I'm building the body mounts here. They're gonna come right off the frame there. So I'm gonna, weld some brackets and build some body mounts, and then just go right into the stock body mounts that are actually there. So this is gonna work out pretty good. And then I gave myself some marks when I was taking the body off and on. So I knew that if I line up both these marks here, that when I was done, it would line up my axles dead nuts in the center of the wheel wells. So they look really good. And this one's turned a little bit, so it looks funny. There you go. And this fender's not sitting on there right. So, but when I got the fender sitting on there right and lifted up and whatever, it looks really good. So that's the goal for today. I'm gonna try to build some of that stuff. I'll probably just set up a camera and film and whatever. That way I'm not being bothered and not talking or whatever. But hope you guys enjoy the video. Later. All I'm doing right now is getting enough clearance so that that body sits down over the top of so it matches this right here on the firewall. So it'll drop down where it needs to be so I can build the body mounts, and I need to get the body back and forth this way. And obviously level the body, you know, by the floor, or I gotta find a spot maybe on the back of the cab right there. There's that flat spot. But I got this piece over here was the hardest part. It was sitting on top of that heater motor. So the blower, and I cut around that real carefully. And then on this side here, I unplugged all that stuff in the firewall where your electronics go through, and then I just trimmed around it. And then when this firewall sits down on top of it, I'll weld all that so that because this firewall is moving around right now. So I'll put a level on it and make sure it's nice and plumb. And then I'll weld that to the truck when I drop the truck down on here, because the firewall can come off with the stock cop car Ford, what is this thing? Crown Vic body mounts. So that firewall will now be a part of the truck. You know, so if you have to take the body off or something, you can take it off with the firewall. There's a couple of humps right here I'm kind of worried about. I might have to whack those off, but it's not a big deal. I'll just run the plasma cutter in there and cut them off if I have to. It'd be kind of a bitch to do it with the Sawzall or a grinder or something, so I'd have to do that with a plasma cutter. But I'll go ahead and shut the camera off, and then when I got some other stuff going on, I'll film that too. But I'm gonna kind of jockey this body around a little bit. I might just turn the camera on. I don't know. We'll see what happens. It's getting better, but I gotta take that side and drop it down a little bit. And I don't know, I might have to trim just a little bit more, so I'll probably do that off camera real quick. That way I can sit this thing down all the way. What do you guys think about the new camera setup? So I gotta trim right above this blower motor. And right now the body is like, where the body mount is 1 inch off the frame. And after I looked at it, I started thinking about it. I want about a 1 inch puck or body mount, you know, rubber setup. So I might just jockey this thing around, measure back and forth, get it where I want it, and leave it there. That way when I go to weld all this stuff back together, it's not sitting directly on that heater motor, because that's just gonna rattle and make noise and whatever. So I'll come up just a hair after I trim it out just a little bit. I have about a 1/2 inch I could trim all the way around, and then that'll give me that clearance. And then when I weld all this and then put seam sealer in there and stuff, it'll look like stock. You won't be able to tell. So that should work out a little bit better. I got this set up for my phone, and I could turn it on and off and whatever if I'm in here and Heidi's not filming. And hopefully you guys can get some better angles, and you know, I don't get so frustrated with the camera now. So if I want to, you know, get some different angles and stuff, I could just turn it on and work. I don't have to have this damn thing, you know, where I have to walk back over there and shut the camera back on and off and all that crap. So hopefully you guys like that. Cool little thing. You can get them on Amazon, and all you do is push the button and shut it off. So I have the fender off so you can see what I'm doing, but there's plenty of clearance here. This is off of a Crown Vic, the chassis itself, you guys know that, but this stock Crown Vic Firewall, this is where it was. but you can see how the Ford Unibody firewall comes back like this. And instead of just leaving this down like this and capping it right here, I think what I'll do is I'll like pie cut this thing and I'll turn it and I'll kind of do an octagon style shape in here. When I get ready to do that, I'll make sure and do some filming. But I think it'd be a lot better. You know, I know this wheel's not gonna come back and hit it because like I said, this was stock on the Crown Vics and that never happened. But if you look underneath the fender or if you look inside the firewall of the truck or inside the engine compartment, it just looks like crap. Man, this firewall is about to make me start drinking again. Damn. So it's been like 2.5 hours, 3 hours, and just wiped out fighting with this thing, putting the cab down, cutting, trimming, putting the cab back up, checking it, dropping it back down. And that freaking body mount still won't sit down on the top of the frame. It's like a 1/2 inch right now. And all day been working on this, and it's just, earlier it was like 1.5 inches, and now it's still at, you know, all that work that I just did dropped it down 1 inch. And I'll flip the camera around and show you what I'm doing. So right here, I had to trim the top of this blower fan, the plastic, but that's all getting molded in anyways. I'm not worried about all that. And trying to drop this down, well, I figured out what it is when I plasma cut this thing, there's a lip right there. That's what's been hitting that. And then this lip right here. Come on, focus, bitch. See that red line? So that's where I got to trim it right there. And that's literally keeping this thing up out there a 1/2 inch. And I don't want this, anything touching around here, because when I weld this firewall back on, I want it to be solid to this firewall, but I don't want anything inside the truck that when you know, go over a bump or something, you're gonna hear a crappy noise like creaking and clanging and banging and stuff, rubbing. You know, you don't want that in a hot rod. If this thing's gonna be, you know, a really nice truck, I want it to drive like a new car. I don't want no, I can't stand a rattly, noisy hot rod. It drives me nuts. That's why when I'm done doing this and I get the floors built, the whole inside of the cabin, everything's getting insulation, the back side of the firewall, everything. And then we'll, you know, also have the noise reducer sprayed on the floors and inside the bed and inside the doors, all that crap. But, oh, it's kicking my ass. So I keep trying to measure it and drop it down so I can get my 1 inch from here to here. But that thing is just pissing me off. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that all cut out of there. I'm trying to think how I can do it. I don't know, maybe plasma cutter or something. I just gotta get to that red line, and once I get that, I'm pretty sure it'll drop down. Just, you know, you have days like that when you're building stuff. It just, one little thing could just take all day long. And it just, man, it's frustrating as hell. But once I get past that, that's, you know, like one of my old bosses told me, one big job is just a whole bunch of little tiny jobs added up. But anyways, I'm gonna keep cutting, and when I get this thing dropped down on there and get it measured and get it moved back and forth, I'll turn the camera back on. Yeah, that's working good. So now I got the body sitting down. I cut out the rest of this stuff right here so that it sits nice. And then, like I said, I'll mold all this stuff in with metal and whatever and move this back like octagon style and weld that all up, make it look nice. And this is what I wanted. This is what I was working all day for, is getting this body sitting down on the frame so that I could build the body mounts and then lift it the 1/2 inch or 3/4 of an inch that it needs on the body mounts. And here to here is from this flange here to this one is 3/4 of an inch on both sides. And then now I gotta start making all my measurements, and then I'm gonna clamp the whole damn body down. And then what I'll do is I'll start building the body mounts. And as I do that, I'll do that. As I start building the body mounts, I'll do that in another video, because this video is starting to get a little bit long. And then obviously the firewall, I'll have to fabricate some pieces that go from here up to here so that it's up underneath, and then weld that all back in. And then, you know, I'll paint the firewall with like a undercoating or something, just so it looks nice and it kind of hides all the welds and the ugliness, because you can, you know, you can see the the cop car Ford Crown Vic Firewall is kind of ugly. You know, we want it to look nice. So, but that's the next step, building the body mounts. So I will see you guys on the next video and we'll go from there. Appreciate you watching. Later.